and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I've just realised I'm getting my hair done tomorrow quite drastically. I'm losing all of this and changing the colour of it. And I think there's going to be videos of that new hair going up before this hair. So there's going to be a bit of like, oh, 1 minute Lauren's got short hair, short ginger hair if all goes to plan. And the next minute Lauren's got long blonde hair. So if you're watching that thinking that, I understand. I just didn't plan ahead when I was doing the videos. She's on the floor again. On the floor now means book haul. In fact, I'll bring you a little bit lower. Boop. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, book hauls now, because until I bring the table back in front of here, or the sofa, God, it'll be time for the sofa when the clocks go forward. Yeah, we bring the sofa back over here for the spring-summer setup. But until that happens, sitting on the floor is much better when I have a vast amount of books to show you and a pack of crisps. So, today's video is a book haul. It's the books that I've got my mitts on in February, including ones that I've bought, ones that I've been sent. A new way of getting books is to sort of, I don't know if this would be called a re-haul, but books that I'd previously got rid of, and then a few people had commented on the video where I got rid of them saying, I think you'd really like that, you should keep that in. So, and also books that people I know have now given me and will be going on here because they're going on the old TBR, so I need to include them. Right, we'll start with the books that I've bought. So I've bought firstly A Million to One by Adiba Jaigerda. Adiba is an Irish author of colour, which I sort of do struggle to find, if I'm being honest, when I'm looking for books to read for the Irish readathon, which is going ahead in March. And this book, I think, I can't fully confirm, but I think it's about to win my Patreon book club poll for March. In March, we're reading Irish authors, but Irish YA, and it was this, A Million to One, up against The Asparagus Bunch, which is about a neurodiverse kid, and I think this is going to be, it's very marginal, I think it's like 53% it wins with. But anyway, what's this about? It's about 4 girls on the Titanic. Josepha, Hina, Violet and Emily. So Josepha has got her eye on the biggest target yet, the Titanic, and she's out to steal the ultimate prize, the Rubaiyat, one-of-a-kind book worth millions. All she needs is the perfect team, and the other girls, Hina, Violet and Emily, are all on her team. I've read other books by, well, 2 other books by Adiba. I've read The Henna Wars and Hanny and Issues Guide to Fake Dating. I don't know if this is a reissue, because I saw on Adiba's Twitter that she's got another book out this year, so it must, she's absolutely churning them out. So yeah, I will be reading this in March. Then I've bought, which isn't a surprise, and I should have waited a little bit though, because my friend Emma texted me to say, me and my boyfriend have both read this book, would you like to borrow it? So I should have waited a little bit longer, but I imagine I'll be lending this to a few people. It's the next book by Janice Hallett. This is The Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels. You will know that I read and absolutely loved The Appeal a few years ago. It appeared on my best books of the year. David read it in a weekend, which is absolutely unheard of. I've just lent it to my sister, who thought it was amazing, and my mum has now got it. Really, really, really loved it. Didn't love Janice's next book called The Twyford Code. In fact, was like super disappointed, I think, because I'd loved the Appeal so much. Then was listening to Quick Book Reviews podcast, and Philippa said that this was as good, if not better, than The Appeal. So I'm very, very excited to get to it. I don't even know what the blurb is about. Should we read the blurb? Everyone knows the sad story of the Alperton Angels, the cult who brainwashed a teenage girl and convinced her that a newborn baby was the Antichrist. Believing they had a divine mission to kill the infant, they were only stopped when the girl came to her senses and called the police. The Angels committed suicide rather than stand trial, while mother and baby disappeared into the care system. Nearly 2 decades later, true crime writer Amanda Bailey is writing a book on the Angels. The Alperton baby has turned 18 and can finally be interviewed. If Amanda can find them, it will be the true crime scoop of the year, and it will save her flagging career. But rival author Olivia Menzies is just as smart and better connected, and is also on the baby's trail. As Amanda and Oliver are forced to collaborate, they realise that what everyone thinks they know about the Angels is wrong. The truth is something much darker and stranger than they'd ever imagined, and the story of the Alperton Angels is far from over. And as is the case in The Appeal and in the Twyford Code as well, this is made up by different sort of medias, so text messages, emails, transcripts, interviews from prison, and things like that, which I really think makes for like quick reading and also like really gripping reading, and a great way to get information like instantly when you're reading a sort of like crime thriller book. I really hope it's as good as I've got myself hyped up for. I really, really hope it is. And then one that I bought after I've been doing a lot of watching people's best books of the year. I'm still doing that now, who hasn't been. And one of the books, so normally I have my library page open, well, both library pages open, but this book that Jean mentioned in her best books of the year, I couldn't find anywhere, but I did find a second-hand copy online, and this is Spell on Wheels. It's a graphic novel by Kate Leth, Megan Levens and Marissa Louise about a group of witches, and I just think it sounded so fun. So it's a road trip story and a magical revenge fantasy. A sisters over mister's tale of 3 witches out to get back what was taken from them. Andy, Jolene and Claire are your average 20-somethings. They're legacy witches making their way through a modern world. When a jealous non-magical ex breaks into their home and steals a spell that could awaken potentials with magical powers, the witches plan their revenge. Travelling down the East Coast, they must retrieve their powerful stolen artefacts and strengthen their friendship, because the big bad is even worse than they imagined. And I think the second one of this is out really soon, or is just out now. So if I do like this, I've got a second one to go into. So very pleased about that. So those are the books that I've bought. Then I've got 3 that just came from the publisher today. The first one I'm bloody off my head excited about. It's not out until the 9th of February, which is probably gone by the time you watch this video. But it's Ayobami Adebayo's next book, A Spell of Good Things. I absolutely loved Ayobami's first book, which I'm just trying to stay with me, it was called. Yeah, I got there before I even found the press release. I listened to that on audiobook and really enjoyed it. So very excited to read this. And this is a dazzling story of modern Nigeria and 2 families caught up in the riptides of wealth, power, romantic obsession and political corruption. Already I'm in. Eniola is tall for his age, a boy who looks like a man. His father has lost his job, so Eniola spends his days running errands for the local tailor, collecting newspapers and begging, dreaming of a big future. Waralala is a golden girl, the perfect child of a wealthy family. Now an exhausted young doctor in her first year of practice, she is beloved by Kunle, the volatile son of family friends. When a local politician takes an interest in Eniola and sudden violence shatters a family party, Warola and Eniola's lives, I must check the pronunciation of those, become intertwined. In this breathtaking novel, Ayobami Adebayo shines her light on Nigeria and the gaping divide between the haves and the have-nots and the shared humanity that lives in between. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. Wonder if this would probably be, well, hopefully, longlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. But yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? And I love To Stay With Me so much, so excited to read that. And then, so all of these books are from Canongate. They were kind to send me 3, well, they sent me a list of books, and these were the 3 that I was most interested in. The next one is Why Women Grow, and this is, I mean, this is beautiful, isn't it? Stories of soil, sisterhood and survival. And this is from the author of Rootbound, Alice Vincent. And it says, women have always got, the end papers, guys. Gorgeous. Women have always gardened, but our stories have been buried with our work. Alice Vincent is on a quest to change that, to understand what encourages women to go out, work the soil, plant seeds and nurture them, even when so many other responsibilities sit upon their shoulders, to recover the histories that have been lost among the soil. Why Women Grow is a much-needed exploration of why women turn to the earth as gardeners, growers and custodians. This book emerges from a deeply rooted desire to share the stories of women who are silenced and overlooked. In doing so, Alice fosters connections with gardeners that unfurl into a tender exploration of women's lives, their gardens and what the ground has offered them, with conversations spanning creation and loss, celebration and grief, power, protest, identity and renaissance. I mean, this sounds to me like the absolute perfect sort of spring read, doesn't it? Just as things are starting to grow again. And I've got myself a bunch of daffodils. I got some in the shops the other day. And yeah, sounds amazing, doesn't it? To read outside. Oh yeah, I'm going to be well into this. And it looks as though, yeah, so all of these sort of like different parts of the book are told from different locations. So far I've only seen locations in the UK. Oh no, Arrow, that might be Iceland, but Cambridge, Brixton, Canary Wharf, Somerset, the Welsh borders, Enfield. So yeah, I'm very excited to get to that. It sounds amazing. And like I said, the perfect sort of like spring read. Just having a look underneath. I can't get over those end papers. Let's see if the other ends is the same. It is. It's gorgeous. I'd like that as a poster. Okay, and then the last book that the Canongate were kind enough to send me is Wolfish by Erica Berry. The stories we tell about fear, ferocity and freedom. And I got this because I read last year, and it was actually one of my favourite books of the year. Bloody forgotten what it's called. Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. And whilst I was reading that, it's one of those special books that you don't realise is going to be one of your favourites of the year. And then when, like a couple of months later, or even like 6 months later, you're still thinking about it. And that book, the Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey, is about, it's a fiction book about wolves being reintroduced into the Scottish Highlands and what that does for the environment up there. And I absolutely loved it. And since then I've sort of been like interested in wolves. And when this was put to me, I was like, well, I've definitely got to get that, haven't I? Wolves abound through cultural folklore and through literature, vilified and venerated in equal measure. In Wolfish, Erica Berry examines these legends alongside her own research on the wolf across nearly a decade to get to the heart of what our stories about the wolf reveal about our relationships with one another and ourselves. The wolf is so often depicted as the male predator, preying on the vulnerable girl or woman who strays from the path. The she-wolf, meanwhile, represents women who sit outside the accepted boundaries of feminine behaviour. Berry openly recounts her own uncomfortable and sometimes frightening experiences as a woman to try to understand how we can navigate our fears when threat can seem constant. So yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? I'm excited to read that. Now, the next two books are books that have been given to me by people I know, one being my husband David and that one being A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. David read this, well, he's just finished it. He read it in January. And a few people had recommended this to us as like, well, if you like the appeal, you'll really like this. And David really did enjoy this. I've also got it out on Audible from Libby at the moment. I do want to read it because David had such a good time with it. And like, he started reading it when we were on our mini moon and he was like, oh my God, no. A lot of that was going on. And I was like, oh yeah, what's happening? So I do want to get to it. Whether or not I read David's copy or whether or not I listen to the audio of it is yet to be seen, but it will be being read, and yeah, I'm excited about it. It's the first in a trilogy. Next one's called Good Girl, Bad Blood, and then As Good as Dead is the last one. But all of those are available on Libby, so I will get round to reading those. And then somebody from Choir lent me this book. Now, it's by Jodie Picoult, who is not normally an author that I read a lot of, and Jennifer Finney Boylan. This is called Mad Honey. It's a very nice front cover. I've sort of had a bit of the experience I've had with Jodie Picoult, furthered by this list of novels here, is that she's a bit of a churn 'em out, and I'm always concerned how much research she does into her books. And they're always massive issues. Literally, you can fly from like one novel about the Holocaust to then, I remember starting a book about a black midwife being racially discriminated against and things like that. And I always think, God, how much research has gone into these, Jodie? But I'm assured that this is very, very good. The big topic we're after here is about abusive marriages, I believe. Olivia fled her abusive marriage to return to her hometown and take over the family beekeeping business when her son Asher was 6. Now, impossibly, her baby is 6 feet tall and in his last year of high school. A kind, good-looking, popular ice hockey star with a tiny sprite of a new girlfriend. Lily also knows what it feels like to start over. When she and her mother relocated to New Hampshire, it was all about a fresh start. She and Asher couldn't help falling for each other, and Lily feels happy for the first time, but can she trust him completely? Then Olivia gets a phone call. Lily is dead, and Asher is arrested on charge of murder. As is the case against him unfolds, she realises he has hidden more than he shared with her, and Olivia knows firsthand that the secrets we keep reflect the past we want to leave behind, and that we rarely know the people we love as well as we think we do. So yeah, a novel written by 2 authors. I'm always interested in those sort of things, but let's see, lent to me by somebody lovely at Choir. Then the last 3 books, as I said, they're books that I was going to get rid of. I did a massive sorting out. That's why I've got this lovely big space. I did a massive sorting out and I got rid of like over 100 books. I had lots of books that were like on their sides and all of that, and I've made everything look lovely. And one book I got rid of because I was like, I don't think I'm going to read that again. And turns out I am. And then the next, well, let's do that one first. So that one is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is a book that I've read a couple of times and have included on my best books of the year before. It's a sci-fi novel about a group of, well, I'd say people, but there's different species included in this, and some work they're doing on black holes in space. I really enjoyed this, and this is the first in a series, which I think is now 4 books. Now, I noticed on my library that they've got all 4 books, and I thought, I would really like to read those, just to like get the, because I enjoyed this first book so much and I've read it a number of times. I think, oh, I would like to get back to that. So I've held on to this, thinking I'm going to reread this and then read the others in the series at some point. So I don't know when that point will be, but I will do that. Next up is Inferno, a memoir by Catherine Cho. I think it was Mercedes, so I've got Mercedes to blame for this, who, when I said I was going to get rid of this, she said it was the best memoir she's probably ever read. I don't want to quote her, but she was very excited about this, and I'm sure it was Mercedes. And this is about Catherine returning to the US from London with her newborn son and having an incident of psychosis and ending up in an institution. There's an involuntary psych ward in New Jersey, separated from her husband and child, unable to understand who she was and how she got there. So yeah, I mean, when I've been told that, I think, bloody hell, maybe I do want to read that. So I've hung on to that as well. And then this last one was Creatures of Passive by Maroa Yadije, which I bought last year because it was longlisted for the Women's Prize. May well have been shortlisted. Anyway, I never got round to reading it, but I've seen this on Britta Bowler's and Jen Campbell's best books of 2022, so it had to be fished out, and I will get round to reading it. So yeah, I've included books that are going back on my shelves, as well as books that are no longer on my shelves. So those are the books that I have got my mitts on in February. Let me know what you think of any of these books. Let me know what books you've got your mitts on in February. I'm going to go and write these all down now, because I'm taking stock of the books that I'm hauling now and seeing how much of those I'm actually reading, because realistically, I mean, it's going to be, there's no way I'm going to be able to read like 100% of them. But it would be nice if I was reading like at the very least 50% of the books that are coming in. That would be nice. So yeah, so let me know, and I'll see you all again soon. Probably with shorter hair next time.